Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Now at 5, viral video. A woman dances on top of a Detroit police SUV. The officers do nothing tonight. The chief's surprising reaction.
And one step closer, the Senate passes a landmark bill aimed at overhauling the nation's infrastructure, but it's not a done deal just yet.
But we begin here at 5 with Storm Tracker 4 and the threat of storms heading into tonight.
Yeah, it feels almost like a replay from yesterday.
Yeah, it really does. Scorching heat, high humidity, and that's brought the threat of storms along for the ride too, right, Andrew?
Exactly right. And those storms more likely later on tonight. Right now, the atmosphere is pretty stable, but it's also hot and muggy once again. We've got temperatures that are easily up to 90 degrees right now over at City Airport and at Metro Airport. Sure, it's cooler with 80 degrees over in Sandusky. That's where it's been cloudier, but the heat index is still a bit higher by at least a few degrees. So still take care. Whether it's 80 degrees or 90, keep kids and pets away from empty vehicles. Stay cool and hydrated over these next few hours. It remains dry out there from now up until about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. We're looking at 90 degrees currently, but it feels like 95. Now, we still have the chance of showers and storms that could be strong to severe. A slight risk of that happening. That's lower on the scale, but it's still a possibility. But again, not a guarantee. It all depends on how these storms that are developing here in Iowa and now Wisconsin, how they survive once they make the trip over Lake Michigan into southeast Michigan. We'll talk more about the timing on this and, of course, tomorrow's forecast, your 7-day forecast, in minutes.
All right, Andrew. Our other top story tonight, the Senate passing a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill in Washington today.
President Biden is celebrating this and the impact it'll have on communities, including Flint.
Millions of lead pipes carrying drinking water to our homes and schools and daycare centers. They're finally going to be replaced. Never again can we allow what happened in Flint, Michigan, and Jackson, Mississippi. Can never let it happen again.
Alice Barr is in Washington with a look at the bill and what Democrats are pushing for next.
Good evening. For President Biden, the Senate vote delivers on signature promises to get both parties to work together. But the bill still faces serious hurdles to get it passed through the House.
Madam President.
In the U.S. Senate today, a huge step toward an historic investment in the nation's aging infrastructure. 19 Republican senators voting with all Democrats to pass a $1.2 trillion bipartisan package, the centerpiece of President Biden's agenda.
America, this is how we truly build back better.
The bill as amended is passed.
Vice President Kamala Harris presiding over the final vote as the White House celebrates a major victory in both policy and bipartisanship.
And here on this bill, we prove that we can still come together to do big things, important things for the American people.
The bill pours billions into roads and bridges, high-speed internet, rail, clean water, and energy, elusive goals in Washington for decades. The Senate immediately pivoted to a separate $3.5 trillion budget resolution that shores up the nation's social safety net. It would dramatically boost spending on Democratic priorities like health care, education, and climate change, paid for by raising taxes on corporations and the wealthy.
This seems almost certain to be the largest peacetime tax hike on record.
Republicans slamming the social investments for ballooning the deficit and adding to already rising inflation. But Democrats believe they have the numbers to pass what would amount to the biggest government expansion since the New Deal of the 1930s.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she won't take up the bipartisan infrastructure bill until the Senate passes the larger package of social priorities. And with just a slim majority in the House, Democrats have very little margin for error. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
Hey, Alice, thank you. And ahead on the news at 6, what the infrastructure bill could mean for us here in Michigan once it gets the president's signature. Embattled New York Governor Andrew Cuomo resigns.
His announcement came after the state attorney general's report saying the 3-term Democrat sexually harassed 11 women and calls for his resignation, which came from many in his own party, including the president.
The best way I can help now is if I step aside and let government get back to governing. And therefore, that's what I'll do. Because I work for you. And doing the right thing is doing the right thing for you.
The governor also apologized to the women he's offended or insulted, but called the claims of sexual harassment and misconduct both unfair and untrue. He will leave office in 2 weeks. Jay Gray will have a comprehensive look at this decision coming up at 5:30. Detroit Police Interim Chief James White has what some would say a pretty unusual reaction to what his officers did in a video that's making the rounds online.
Well, that video shows a woman dancing on top of a DPD cruiser with the officers sitting inside and not getting out to stop her. Sean Lay is live tonight. Sean, he says the officers did the right thing by not taking action.
And it's all about the video. We'll get right to it. Here's the deal. Chief White says the video, in his words, is not nice to watch, but with his officers doing nothing, they did the right thing. A woman having the time of her life dancing on top of a Detroit police SUV this past weekend on Detroit's east side. The officers certainly did not invite her up there. In fact, members of Detroit Police crowd management team were sent there to break up the bash.
People surround the car, about 50, 60 people. And one of the people decided to get on the hood of the car and dance. It's not a nice video.
Police had the SUV's lights on and the party and dancing continued, with people videotaping every dance move. The officers did not get out of their cruiser.
What's frustrating for me is to read that the officers didn't do anything. Okay, well, they did exactly what we're asking them to do. Had they drove off and she rolled off the car and was injured, then I would be asking the question, was that the right decision to make?
Videos now being shared all over social media of the woman dancing on top of a Detroit police SUV. Many identifying the dancing as disorderly conduct. But at that moment, with so many people around, Interim Chief James White says his officer did the right thing by doing nothing.
Based on the facts that in the circumstances that he was dealing with over 100 people surrounding his car and choosing not to drive through the crowd with a person on the hood of the vehicle dancing, I think he's officer of the quarter based on what I've seen.
Officer of the quarter, according to Interim Chief James White. That officer, the thing that he did do was report the incident to his supervisor that night. They pulled the cruiser cam. They watched every frame of it. There is an internal investigation going on, Kimberly, to make sure both officers in that SUV followed all policies and procedures. Back to you.
Sean, about the woman who was dancing on the SUV, what happened with her?
Well, she got down and then got into the crowd of 200 to 300 people, and the chief says his officers were not going to go after her into that crowd.
Yeah. Okay, Sean, thanks.
5 people have been arrested in connection to a shooting at the Deluxe Inn Motel on Grand River near 7 Mile. Police say a woman called her 2 brothers over after getting into a fight with her boyfriend. They say the boyfriend shot the brothers when they arrived. Then one of the brothers grabbed the gun and shot the boyfriend. 2 suspects were arrested and are in the hospital. 2 other men and the woman were also arrested. We're told a 27-year-old man is in critical condition.
Beaumont Hospital held a COVID update today to stress to the public that masks work and they should be worn indoors.
Dr. Frank McGeorge is here with the highlights on this. And Frank, with hospitalizations rising, they want that message to not just be heard, but heeded.
Yeah, absolutely, Kim and Jason. You know, especially with the start of the school year so close. As school boards consider the mask recommendations from the CDC and the Michigan Department of Health, another major healthcare system is weighing in on the value of masking, in particular to decrease the spread of the Delta variant in schools.
The idea that we have this entire population of people who cannot be protected by the vaccine, and they're going to make masking optional in a place where they can't keep social distancing as well. And kids, as you know, are much more likely to hug and touch, and get together in a much closer range. You know, it's just not safe.
Dr. Matthew Sims is an infectious disease specialist at Beaumont Health.
The fact of the matter is, it just takes 1 or 2 cases to start ripping through schools. It's just a danger that there's no reason to take the risk of, making this optional.
He added there's even more reason given the prevalence of the Delta variant.
If both people are masked, you've put a barrier in place, and that barrier is in place whether it's wild type or alpha or delta.
Pediatrician Dr. Sandy Patel noted the trend in the number of pediatric cases.
If there's more COVID in the community, there's going to be more pediatric patients affected. In the last few weeks, We definitely have started to slowly inch upwards a little bit. I think it's sort of a multifactorial answer that the mitigation strategies are different. Not a lot of the pediatric patients may have natural antibodies, and of course, they all can't get vaccinated if they're under 12.
Now, both doctors also emphasize the importance of getting all eligible people vaccinated as soon as possible. Now, remember, you are not considered fully vaccinated until 2 weeks after your second dose, which in the case of the Pfizer vaccine is 5 weeks from your first dose. And that means for kids returning to school, the ideal starting time has actually already passed.
Frank, how concerned are local doctors as we see what's happening in the southern states right now?
Well, you know, Jason, there's a lot of concern. The more contagious Delta variant, kids heading back to school, and areas in Michigan where there are still a lot of unvaccinated people is frankly a combination that's going to lead to more cases. The real question is just how many more and what are people willing to do to help stop the spread?
Yeah, and we're getting into that, seems like, on a daily basis. All right, Doc, thanks.
All right, much more to come on a Tuesday. Here's Priya.
Hamtramck firefighters step in to help after a woman's roof is severely damaged in recent storms.
She could literally lose the house.
We'll show you how you might be able to pitch in as well.
And all eyes on Storm Tracker 4 tonight with the threat of severe weather. Andrew's back to update the forecast in just a couple of minutes.
But first, it's a problem without an easy solution. The one thing that a group of experts says needs to happen to prevent people from being wrongfully convicted. That's next.